Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today as we get ready for the 2024 tax season. So, what we want to cover today is we understand that the tax season can be stressful. You might realize that those tax deductible expenses that you remembered to claim, you will receive a tax refund, or on the more stressful side, realize that the IRS is owed some funds from previous years. Having to deal with this contingencies, both positive and negative, can be an emotional roller coaster to say the least. Thankfully, with ClearState, we want to remove any unnecessary complexities when it comes to tax filings for a decedent person. In today's webinar, we'll break down the steps for filing a loved one's tax returns and learning about the key aspects of personal and state taxes. We will also be showing some practical tips to ensure that you have a smooth and efficient filing process. Should you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to use the questions box here. We will keep tabs on your questions and answer them at the end of the presentation. So to meet whom you're speaking to today, my name is Thais. I'm the Director of Settlement Services here at ClearState, and I've been working in client management for over 10 years. Here at ClearState, I lead client operations, making sure that state settlements go smoothly and clients feel supported every step of the way. When it comes to complex state tax situations, I'm the person that will help clients to navigate the process with confidence. And today I'm joined by Faith. Hi, Faith.
Hi, Thais, and hello, everyone. My name is Faith. I'm the Senior Tax Lead with ClearState. Been a tax preparer, I think it's been 14 years now, and I specialize in U.S. and Canadian individual tax for both, so individuals and estates. And my goal is to help make tax season as seamless as possible for you, and to be there, to be supportive, and just help it be a very practical approach to alleviate that stress.
Thanks for being here, Faith.
Thanks for having me.
And here's what we're going to cover today. So we'll be discussing what to file, what ClearState's tax package includes, tax documents, and the tax checklist. We'll also go over the filing timeline and have some questions and answers at the end. Here's what needs to be filed. There are two very common tax filings that when settling someone's estate are required. The first one is the 1040, so it's the decedent's final income tax return. It's used to report any income from January 1st until the date of someone's passing, and that encompasses all sources of income, including wages, self-employment income, interest, dividends, and capital gains. There's also the 1041 return, which is the state's income tax return. It is used to report income earned by a state after the date of death, so covering the period from the date of death until December 31st of the same year. It's important to note that the state is treated as a separate taxpayer, and the 1041 is necessary to report and pay taxes on any income earned by the state. And what does ClearState's tax package includes? So we cover the 1040 for the year of death. So we want to ensure a smooth and accurate filing of the 1040 for the year of passing. We also cover the first 1041 for the estate. So our tax package includes the first one from the date of passing till December 31st of the same year. Note that if there were additional filings required on the estate, those would come as an additional service that we'll be talking shortly. We also cover additional IRS forms, such as the Form 56, to notify the IRS about your role as a fiduciary responsible for managing tax matters on behalf of the state. We cover the Form 4810 to request a quick assessment on the tax liability and expedite the estate distribution. We cover the Form 5495 to seek relief from personal liability from the estate tax debts, and the 4868 to extend due date for filing the 1040 tax return. We cover all these forms required by the IRS, but note, we cover them all. Some are optional, but all included in your tax package. What are the services that are not included in the base package, but are available as additional services? First thing we have is a catch-up tax returns in case that for past years that the decedent may have not filed taxes. We can do those catch-up years at additional services. We also can do subsequent 1041s for when the estate is not wrapped up on the first calendar year and further income is earned by the estate. You will be required to file a 1041 for each year that the estate has earned income, and we can help you with that. And another service that's not covered is amending the tax returns. We file tax returns based on what information you provide to us. And if you provide additional information after the filing is complete, we will need to prepare an amendment to the IRS, and that will have an additional cost to the estate. Here are the documents to be on the lookout for at the beginning of this tax season. These documents are essential for complete and accurate tax filing, and they will help you to fulfill your responsibilities. So the first one is the employment income, the W-2 form. The second one would be the interest income, the 1099 INT. You also should be on the lookout for the dividend income, the 1099 DIV form. We will also may be required to get a capital gain loss information form, 1099B. You also should be looking out for the Social Security Benefit form, SSA 1099 form, and any supporting documentation for deductions and credits. You can find these documents on the deceased's mail or reach out to their bank and financial institutions to require those. Also, our tax checklist that we'll be covering shortly will help you determine what is needed on your case. Other documents that you may be on the lookout for, if applicable, if there was a primary residency for the decedent person, we would require some information on the property. Was it rent? Is it rented? It's sold? If the deceased person had any property rentals, summary of incomes and expenses. If the decedent had their own business, we will also require a summary of income and expenses. If there is any sale of a property during the calendar year, we will require the Form 1099-S, which is the proceeds for real estate transactions. And in certain situations, we may reach out to ask for reports for capital gains and investments, depending on what the decedent owned at the time of passing. And here's our tax checklist. So this tax checklist is the most useful tool to guarantee a successful tax return. It has been built by our tax team to confirm all potential risks and pitfalls you will need to know when preparing the estate filings. The checklist at the back of the document will help you identify what documents will contain the right information that is required. And you can find this checklist uploaded under your Documents tab in the tax and accounting folder at the ClearDesk platform. Let's have a look at this tax checklist. So here's what the form looks like. And we're going to start asking you some general information, state name and the state EIN number. We're also asking if the taxpayer received, sell, or trade any virtual currencies during that year. And if there's a refund, if we should direct a deposit direct to the state bank account. If you want that, then we require some information on the state bank account. We also need to know if the taxpayer owned an aggregate of $10,000 or more in foreign financial accounts during that year. If that is the case, then we also require information on the foreign account. We also need to know if the taxpayer made any installment taxpayers to the IRS or to the state tax authorities during the year. And if that happened, what was the arrangement? We then proceed to require information on the dependents and what was some of their information. And then we proceed to require information on the principal residency. Here is a few boxes for you to check. If that was the case, if the deceased owned their home, we will require these documents, and you can check the boxes here. We then ask on their property information. So if the deceased person had rental or investment properties, if they did, what do you need to provide to us for each of those properties? We also ask, in case of rentals or investment properties, we also ask summary of rental income, rental expenses, and prior year of depreciation reports. And finally, we ask if you know that there is any outstanding tax information that you may be aware of and hasn't yet been able to obtain, you should indicate to us here. And then we come to our checklist. So here you will see that there are many possibilities of things you may be providing to us and what form would that be reported into. So it really helps you to know, if the decedent had any employment at the year of passing, then you know that you have to require the employment income on a W-2 form. So here is really for you to go over this checklist, which you can see is a very comprehensive list, and check every box that would apply to your state, the state that you are managing. And you can see what you would have to provide in that scenario. Once you check all the boxes, then you know what you're looking for and what you should be in the lookout to make sure you ensure a correct filing. And once you've determined what forms and what documents you need to send to us, you will then need to upload the documents to our portal. And here's how you would do it. You would log into your ClearState platform, navigate to the Documents tab, locate the Tax and Accounting folder within the Documents tab, click on the plus sign at the top, select what type of document you are uploading, and locate the file on your computer. Once you do that, you will be having already submitted the documents to us, and our tax team is already informed of all documents you have uploaded to the portal. Very simple and very efficient to send us everything and to ensure that our tax team has access to all the information they need. And here is our filing timeline. Today, we're hosting this tax webinar to provide some information and clarity on what you have to be on the lookout for. Starting tomorrow, slips will start to trickle in. So start looking at the mail or start reaching out to financial institutions to get all the slips. By February 25th, all slips should have been received, and you should have everything that you need to file the tax for the 2024 year. By February 2028, it's the deadline to upload tax slips to our platform. This is to ensure that we will file tax within the deadline. We cannot guarantee a timely filing for slips uploaded into the portal after February 28th. By March 31st, you should receive from our tax team the 1040 and 1041s for your review, because as you know, we will have to file them by April 15, as it's the last day for filing and for paying taxes. I know this is a lot, and it's a lot of dates to be reminded of, so don't worry, our platform will be sending out automated messages to remind you as important dates approach. So our team will also be sending those to you, and you will get those reminders to remember to upload everything to our platform. So here are a few key takeaways from my short presentation today. The first key takeaway is that there are two main tax filings to be aware of: the 1040 for the decedent and the 1041 for the estate. We should be filing both of them by April 15th. Second key takeaway is keep an eye out for tax slips and remember to submit everything you receive through the ClearEstate platform. The third key takeaway for today is to stay attentive, as important messages from our tax team can come on the platform because the deadlines can be quite strict. And the fourth key takeaway is, when in doubt, reach out to our team of state professionals and to your customer success manager, as they will be able to guide you through clear next steps. Remember that the tax checklist is there to help you and guide you on everything that you need to know for this tax season to be a very successful one. Thank you everyone for being here. I want to go to some questions and answers. We have received questions ahead of time because it was possible to submit it. So Faith, I'll start with those. And the first question that we received was how to request a W-2 for the departed if you do not know where they worked.
Okay, that's a good question. There's a couple strategies you can do. The first one is, sometimes if you look through the decedent's bank statements, you might be able to find deposits, like check deposits, if they were paid by check or direct deposit. And it might have a clue to where they worked. And you might be able to find out that way and then reach out to the employer for a copy of the W-2. The second one is, I believe that it's mandatory for the employer to mail out a W-2 anyway, so it might just come in the mail for you, and that hopefully it'll just start coming in the mail in the next couple weeks. And third is, if the first two don't work out, it is possible to fill out a form and request the IRS for any slips that they have on file. Now, the caveat to that is sometimes it can take the IRS 2 years to update what they have on file, but I would say if you can't find slips, it's worth trying, and just to see if they might have a copy and they would send that out by mail.
Perfect. And then the second question we got here is, how can we request a previous year tax return, paperwork, and filing?
When it comes to like the overall paperwork, the slips from previous years, that might the best bet, and a copy of the tax return, the best bet might be to reach out to the IRS. There is a form that we can we can draft for you to sign and mail. And what that asks for is a return transcript. So by asking the IRS for a return transcript for a certain year, they will mail out a letter that has a line item of everything that was reported in those years. So those are a great substitute for any prior year tax returns.
Great. So for the person who asked this question, they can reach out to their customer success manager on the chat, and we can help with the letter, Faith.
Definitely, we can help fill out those forms, and that's part of the base tax package as well.
Perfect. So I encourage the person who asked that question to message their customer success manager on the platform. We got another question here is, how do I get the gain loss report information?
Okay, so if the decedent held investments, they may throughout the year, well, they before and after their passing, may have purchased or sold investments. There is a form called a 1099-B, which should come in the mail or is available from the financial institutions. And usually they include, after that form, pages that show actual details of the transactions, and that's very useful. So if you get that in the mail or if you get that from the financial institution, please scan the entire package. Sometimes it can be a lot of pages, but we'd rather look at that to make sure everything is reported correctly. So that should come together, the 1099-B slip and the summary of all the transactions.
Perfect. We just got a new question coming up here also about how do I find out if the deceased taxes are up to date or if I have to do catch-up years?
Okay, that's a good question too. The best way to find out is to apply or fill out that form that I mentioned before and ask for return transcripts from the IRS. And what they'll do is, if there is no tax return that was filed, they'll just send a letter that says no record on file for that year. So you'll know that it needs to be filed.
Perfect. And so far, the last question that I see here is, what happens if I cannot send you all the information by February 28th?
If for some reason, I would say upload everything you can. There's a couple options. What we can do is if you are expecting information to come in later or you're unable to access that information, upload what you have, upload anything you can, and what we'll do is we'll do a tax estimate by April 15th for you. And we'll also file an extension. Now, the extension is an extension to file later, but is not an extension to pay the tax later. That's why it's important for you to upload anything you can, and we'll do the best tax estimate for you so a payment can be made on time.
Perfect. I think that's all the questions that we received so far, but all great ones, and very good to know that there are options to discover information from the IRS if we don't have anything. If we know that we're missing something, it's good to know that the transcripts is an option too. I'll give a couple more minutes to see if we get any further questions here. I guess not. Well, I want to thank you everyone for being here today, for learning a little bit more what we need to file and what is required for you to be on the lookout. I hope we covered everything you needed to know and we answered all the questions, but if you do have any further questions, you can reach out to your customer success manager via the chat and they will answer you and make sure that you have all the information you needed to be filing in time and having an efficient filing. Let me see if we got another one. Nope. I guess that's it then. Thank you so much for being here. Faith, thanks so much for being on stage with me today.
Thanks, Thais. No, it was good. And just, yes, please, if any other questions do come up, reach out to the customer success manager and be happy to answer them.
And we wish everyone a very good day. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.